Gary Dolphin has been the voice of the Hawks now for the last 12 years, but his career in broadcasting spans 36 years. Recently, I sat down with Gary to talk to him about his career and about his time here at the University of Iowa.
My career spans about 36 years, 1972-73 when I got out of school, and always wanted to be involved in radio or TV somehow. I spent 6 years in radio doing Iowa football and basketball and a lot of high school and small college hoops and football in the mid-70s. Left radio in 1978, went to television for 10 years, and did some play-by-play there, mainly sports anchoring, 6 and 10. Got tired of that. I got frustrated with working all day and then being told, well, you get 2.5 minutes to get everything in. Television is, as you know, much more condensed than radio. That kind of drove me back to radio because, and it also pointed out how much I miss play-by-play, because you're allowed to expand, create a picture, talk to the people listening in a little more intimate way. And so I got back into radio in 1989, high school, small college. Got a call from a friend of mine in 1990 who had just gotten the job as associate athletic director at Northwestern in Chicago. And he said, we need a basketball play-by-play guy. And, of course, living in Dubuque, he understood that it would be somewhat of a lengthy drive to do 27 basketball games, but it's an opportunity I jumped at because I wanted to get back into the Big Ten. I also started to work for the Chicago Bears at that time, working behind the scenes with the on-field officiating crew and the network, and became the television sideline timeout coordinator, if you will. Basically timed everything, trying to keep the game moving, get it inside of a 3-hour window. Did that for 10 years, did Northwestern for 6 years. Then in 1997, Iowa decided to go to an exclusive network setup, and I was fortunate enough to get an interview for that job and then picked for that position, hard to believe, 12 years ago. So that kind of brings me to present day.
Gary says one of the best parts of his job is being able to call games with Hawkeye greats like Ed Podolak and Bobby Hansen.
Well, it's a thrill for me personally, but professionally it's a hoot because number one, I watch these guys play. Ed and I are very similar in age, and my introduction to Iowa football was in the 60s when Iowa, although they didn't have many winning teams, they had a lot of great individual players. And some of them are good friends of mine. Mike Riley, who was a consensus All-American, the Hilgenberg family. I remember Carl Noonan, Gary Snook, Gary Fletcher, right on up through the end of the 60s when Ed Podolak was a great quarterback / running back at Iowa. And then I followed Ed's career, of course, with the Chiefs, and Bobby, member of the Final Four team in 1980, and, of course, his 9-year career in Utah and with the world champion Bulls. And I've always admired guys that can make that transition from the floor of the field to the broadcast booth, particularly when they've won like they have. They've been to the mountaintop. They've won world championships as well as had great Big Ten success. So now, having said that, you got to be able to talk, you got to be able to articulate, you got to be able to create as well as an analyst, and we really are fortunate here at Iowa. There are none better than Podolak and Bobby Hansen.
Dolph has a lot of favorite Iowa games he has called over the years, but some of them might not be the ones you'd guess right away.
Well, the logical one would be the Capital One Bowl for football now, obviously. Drew Tate to Warren Holloway to end the game, and although that is right up there, one of the more memorable games I have, and people may shake their head at this, but it was in Kirk's second year, because to me that turned the program around. That gave the young guys confidence that they could get it done at Iowa, and also for those looking in on national TV that day, to go into Penn State and win, and then win in dramatic fashion like Iowa did. The tip ball that Ryan Hansen picked off in double overtime. That was a 3-9 season. Not only did they win that game and get some momentum, they came back to Iowa City and just dominated top 20 ranked Northwestern the following week. And that gave them their third victory of the season, and from there they took off. Normally, when you look at a program like Iowa, it's anywhere from a 4 to 5 year rebuilding process. Kirk Ferentz got it done in 3 years because the next year they went to the Alamo Bowl and beat Texas Tech. Nate Kading, Robert Gallery, Dallas Clark. That era started and got on a heck of a roll, as we all know. So that Penn State game was special to me. In basketball, you play 30 games a year. There's many memorable games, but one of my favorites, other than Steve Alford's teams winning the Big Ten tournament titles, was Dr. Tom's last year here at Iowa when they got to the Sweet 16. Nobody picked them to get there. They had an unbelievable up-and-down 40-minute racehorse of a game with Arkansas in the round of 32. And Nolan Richardson had a great team out in Denver, and Iowa won that game, came from way back. And also that same year, they ended Kansas' 60-plus game winning streak at Fog Allen Fieldhouse down in Lawrence when they came from, I think, 16 down. I remember Kent McCausland and others got on a three-point shooting streak and beat an outstanding Kansas team coached by Roy Williams. So those are some of the more crystal clear images I have in terms of favorite games, Iowa football and basketball.
Reporting from Iowa City, I'm Alex Solsma for Palestra.net, the College Network.